Welcome to Season 2 of Unraveled, hosted by the Loveland Foundation. My name is Aseanté Renee.
And I'm LaToya Maria.
And we are here unraveling all the misconceptions about how to be on our healing journeys. That's right, we are demystifying and debunking all these false truths, all these rigid requirements, and quick fixes.
This season, we're going to get a little bit deeper into something I think we are all curious about, self-love, and also how we interact or build relationships. We'll start with ourselves. So self-love is the foundation for healthy relationships, don't you think?
I mean, you kind of have to start with self.
Yeah, I think it's like the most important relationship. We got some questions, and I think we want to answer them and support everyone with understanding how to embody self-love and how it can help us navigate through the world, not just with ourselves, but with our romantic relationships, our interpersonal relationships, everything that matters in building a community. So one of the questions that I think we should start with is, how do I know if I'm practicing enough self-love before getting into a relationship?
Okay. Whew. Okay, so I think let's take a step back, because I think oftentimes people are looking for a metric to be like, am I enough? What do I need to do to be enough so I can do this thing going forward? So if we pull back and start with the baseline, you are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. Yes, there are some areas and some things that you can grow and evolve in, but a lot of our coping mechanisms, if not most of our coping mechanisms that we have that come out when we're triggered or, come out because of life things, is those things were helping to keep us safe at some point. Those were the things we were using to feel protected and to feel safe. And so first I want to start with, yes, those things may come up, and now you are becoming aware that these may no longer work in this particular season of my life. But that doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you need to be fixed. It doesn't mean you are a bad person. And I think that really is where self-love begins, because you are truly starting from a place of abundance and not a place of deficit. When we're kids, like we're young, we're children, and no matter what your household possibly look like, as kids, you want to be able to support the family. You don't want to be a burden on the family. You don't want to be, the one that's causing problems in the family. Like, you want to be able to contribute to it in some way. And so our parents, bless their hearts, they did the best they could with what they knew.
We give thanks to our caregivers. We appreciate you.
And to whoever those caregivers might be. But there are times where we experienced certain things or reacted or responded to certain things as a kid, and it was labeled as bad. And we often internalize that and then made ourselves bad. Well, I must be bad because I did X, or I must be bad because mommy and daddy or my caregiver responded like X. There must be something wrong with me, because we don't know all the other factors that are playing into it. We just know the piece that we know. And so what often ends up happening is it gets imprinted on us that we are bad. And so we start to spend our lives trying to do enough good to not feel bad. And that's where it's really hard to lean into self-love, because we're trying to pour into a bucket with a hole in it. And so starting with, I'm actually not broken. I'm not bad. There's no such thing as like good and bad in that way. I don't need to be fixed. That is kind of the basis for where self-love can begin, right? And it starts with the release of this burden of external things to validate we are worthy of love, right? We don't need this thing to prove I'm enough. We don't need that thing to prove I'm enough, because I am just enough. My bucket no longer has a hole.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know that's like, yeah, Aseanté, that sounds cute in theory. How do I actually do that with all these holes in my bucket? So I want to offer this example. So you remember the first time you liked somebody, you was like really feeling somebody.
I do.
You remember the first time you were in love?
Oh, on camera? I do.
Girl. But that feeling you had, that joy, that excitement, right? When there's someone you really like you get really curious about them. You're like, I wonder what their favorite color is. I wonder what they like to eat.
Yeah.
I wonder what movies they like.
Really have to hone in on managing the hyperfixation.
It's fine. It's fine. That's another topic for another day.
I mean, but it's a part of it.
But it is
on who you're like. It's for me. It was 100%. I wonder what their favorite color is.
I want to know all about them. Yeah. I'm so curious about them. And then when they did things that, you were like, oh, that was a choice. You gave them grace. You're like, oh, well, that's adorable. They chew with their mouth open. Look at them. That's so cute. But you didn't judge. You gave grace before you judged, and you were very curious about them. So we know how to do that. What I'm saying is turn that on yourself.
Right.
Self-love looks like being curious about you. What do I actually love? What do I actually enjoy? What do I not enjoy? Where can I start getting honest about what feeds me and what drains me? Not what I'm conditioned to say okay to, not what I'm conditioned to not or to be afraid of, but what do I actually like? What do I actually love? A lot of us have been in our bodies our whole lives and don't know ourselves. And so self-love starts with starting to date yourself, getting curious about yourself, and then giving yourself grace. Because those things that we find adorable in the beginning with the person that we like, look at you. Look at me out here spiraling out from time to time. Okay. Look at you with that vivid imagination. Okay, need to reel it in, but I love that you're creative. That was one way to go with that thought.
Right.
But it is, we know how to do this with other people. The first thing as it relates to self-love is just turning that on yourself, dating yourself, getting curious about yourself, giving grace to yourself. Because a lot of us don't like ourselves. So how are we going to love ourselves if we don't like ourselves? And so you have to start small. You have to start with the simple things. And then we can get into all the other, extraneous, big brain things around.
And I think one of the ways to sit with self-love and really comprehending that it's not about perfection.
This part.
It's not about also rejecting or turning away from the parts of ourselves that hold shame, right? Calling in the shadowy parts, calling in the parts of ourselves that we don't always tend to is one of the biggest ways that we can take on self-love as a real practice. And every day, it will look different. You may not be able to give yourself 100% every day. It's just
you're not
even possible.
So let's pause and start there. You are not going to you're not going to do it 100% right every day because there is no right way to do this. This is a practice. We are learning. And if you are learning yourself, you're like, A plus B equals C today. A plus B equals unicorn tomorrow. A plus B equals purple the following day. And all of those are correct depending on the season you're in. So I appreciate that you named it's going to look different depending on where you are.
And I think that's a part of the reason why we are going to offer you practices that you can take on every day or once a week or when you have the capacity or space, because it's not going to be one done and I'm going to be like, okay, let me see what they say. Got it.
3 deep breaths, I'm healed. Got it.
That's not what we're doing here.
That's not how it works.
It's a lifestyle. It is choosing yourself. If you want to be ready for a relationship, you have to know how to choose yourself.
You have to first
be capable and willing to choose yourself every day. So I think that it's a good way to look at self-love and preparation for a relationship. What's your relationship with yourself?
With yourself. And choosing yourself every day may not look like 100% every day. Choosing yourself every day may look like I got 12%.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself 7.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a part of especially for women of color, this concept of getting it right all the time. For many reasons. When you are working with yourself, playing and enjoying who you are as a whole person, the hidden parts of yourself, I always have to highlight that. All of you. This is going to be something that transforms how you even see the world.
Yeah.
Who you want to call in and attract in relationships.
This part.
that is truly the pinnacle and like the basis for all of this. It's like, because I don't want to come from a place of desperation, deficit, lack. Like you don't want to come from this space. You want to approach your wholeness journey from a place of deep love. And that does not look like performing it. It looks like being so graceful, compassionate with yourself, and evaluating what your self-worth is, which we're going to get into.
We're going to get into that. I love that. I feel like we should probably, let's also just be honest and name in the room. It's learning to practice self-love may not feel good at first.
Okay.
Like, we're just going to pause.
How did Unravel even happen? We wanted to bold print.
Pause.
For effect.
The in every camera that we're looking at.
Those were the things that are like, let's get into this. Real people, not a curated feed. Yeah. Right? It may not feel good.
And honestly, it probably won't feel good at first. You will probably be really frustrated when you start to embark on a journey of self-love. And that does not mean, and I'm going to say it again, that does not mean that is not an indication of, that does not mean that is not an indication of, 3 times because I'm from the South. That does not mean, and that is not an indication of you doing something wrong. Yeah. We have spent so much of our lives, specifically melanated women, in survival mode. And so we haven't tapped in to certain emotions. Yeah. We haven't answered certain questions because we've never been asked. Yeah. And so we are starting to ask ourselves questions no one has ever asked of us. We have never asked of ourselves. And so it may be frustrating when the first answers that come up are, I don't know.
I don't know.
And that's actually the best place to start because that's honest. Because that's honest. And that's the first point in choosing yourself and leaning into self-love is honesty. And honestly, I don't know because I spent the last X number of decades not asking myself what I needed so I could show up for everyone else. And so I don't know. Great. So what do you do with that? Now you sit with it. Yeah. You sit with the I don't know. And maybe that's all you do that day. I asked this question and the answer is, I don't know. And that's as far as I got. And that's fine. We'll come back to it. Yeah. And then you slowly come back to it and slowly come back to it and start to answer, well, what if I might like, I might enjoy, I might need, and you start to get back into that curious space and dating yourself. Yeah. But I did want us to lead with like, it's going to feel so uncomfortable and so frustrating for some of us in the beginning. And that still means it's working.
Yeah. I think because we conflate often self-love and self-care. And by the way, self-care is not it's not a spa day. That's maintenance.
That's not.
Y'all, just so that we're clear. Yeah. Yeah? Okay, cool. Do all of the things. They are important
for you.
I love them. But that they're not the same thing. And for me, self-care and self-love, from the perspective that I see it, is a sense of being able to do the hard thing.
For you.
But
that goes back to your self-worth.
Yes.
And so can you lean a little bit more into self-worth? Because I think we talk about self-love, self-care, self-worth. Like we have all these self-words, but they're conflated to mean things. I just want to start singing songs from The Color Purple right now. But I want you
always ready to break out the song. Like
Cynthia, if you're ever watching this, Miss Aribo, Madam Aribo, please, because your song here.
I mean, I will wrap my hair up in white.
Whatever you need.
We'll do it. Whatever.
We will unravel. It is your invitation to come. Come join us.
Have a seat.
Okay. So one of the things that you've brought into the conversation, and I really want us to drill down into, is this piece around self-love. I mean, I'm sorry, self-worth. one of the questions that came up was, what are some real ways to build confidence and feel whole on my own?
Cue Beyonce, I'm that girl. Okay. The entire Renaissance album is
That's your answer.
It's just
hit play.
Confidence. Like, I could totally do a story time about that. Maybe later, but it's a valuable question.
No, I want to hear the story.
Yeah, I could definitely do the story. So, yeah, actually, it'd be good. All right. The year is, when did Renaissance come out?
I don't know, but the fact that you started your story with the year is, you're such a Leo. It's so picture this.
Picture this. I need to.
The year is 2022.
Something like that.
Light breeze outside.
Really, actually, the window was open.
See, I can't.
I was laying on my yoga mat. I had been coming to my yoga mat and not moving. I was in the depths of grief. I was feeling through major changes. And this grief was a loss of lifestyle. I had left my job. I left my country. It was just so many different things happening. So I was realizing that I was attaching my value to how I contributed, what I did, where I lived,
your output, your labor, your productivity,
all of those things. And I knew that the Renaissance album had come out. This is so wild that I'm talking about this, but we give thanks to Spirit that guides us. And I hadn't listened to it. I just wasn't in the mind state. I was just feeling so lost and numb. And I was laying on the mat and I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to turn this album on. I like a little Beyonce every once in a while, you know? And I turned it on and the first song was I'm That Girl.
Ooh.
And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like the truth of the matter is that I am her without doing anything other than breathing and laying on this mat.
Why is that so hard for people to hold? Because we can say it, we can sing it, like I'm that girl. But again, we're faking it till we make it. Why is it so hard to truly believe? If all of these things were stripped away, my titles, my accolades, my accoutrement.
Oh, I love that word so much.
Right, it's such a good word.
Okay, let's come back. Oh my goodness, I love them. That is one of my favorite words. Please continue. Yes.
I love that I never knew this about you. It's the little things. All these years of friendship. I'm like, new wrinkle in my brain. But how do you actually get to that place? Because if I'm being fully honest, even I sometimes, even now, have to check like, my value is still tethered to this. My self-worth is still connected to this thing. So how do you get to a place that without the accolades, without the accomplishments, without the accoutrement, without all the external validators and confirmations, that if all that were to leave tomorrow, I am still enough. I am still that girl. I am still worthy. How do you feel that? How do you feel that in yourself? How do you know that?
So, I mean, it's going to be anything, but for me, that was a trigger of a remembering. That song and the hearing the words, it was literally a trigger of a remembering of like, wait, at the top of the morning, when I wake up, when I open my eyes, my worth is not to be held with what I do in the world. It is exactly who I am and how I feel connected to my heart. It's from coming from a place of the heart, of the essence of who you are. And so when I laid on that mat and I felt that jolt of energy, of vitality, of like breath, I deepened my breath and my heart felt so full. Because it helped me remember, okay, all of those things weren't always there.
I didn't always have those things.
I didn't always have
And I was still worthy.
And I was still worthy.
It's almost like, what is that machine where they
A machine?
No, what is the machine? Like when someone's having a heart attack and they do like
a
the
defibrillator.
clear.
A defib. A defibrillator. Yeah.
I'm glad you looked down and you're like, there it is.
Where it is. It's appeared in front of us. Yeah. So self-worth is the foundation of how we make decisions. Really. It truly is. If we have a low self-worth or a low value of self, we can find ourselves in situations where we are fawning. We are choosing to say yes when we are ignoring and not honoring our no's because we want to feel safe, or we think
what we've decided is safe, but it's actually familiar.
It's familiar. And, when we sit with self-worth and comprehend that it is going to help us be more discerning, discernment is a gift. And if we can hone in on what worth really means, it's not about how your output. It's not what you're contributing to the world. And it is truly this place of value with regards to your pure existence, your breath in and your breath out. It's a real practice of entrainment of the heart. And that's not just a physiological thing. That is something that you can call in with breath. That can be something that you call in with dancing. There's something that you can call in with just a simple writing project. This is one of the things that I think is really beautiful about self-worth. You can do things that you're horrible at and then find some enjoyment.
That goes back to the play piece, right?
The play.
Because it's not, the output isn't the purpose.
Right.
It's the experience.
Exactly.
I say that, but as a recovering perfectionist, I'm like, that sounds cute. We'll work on that in another episode.
We've got a somatic practice for you.
I would like one. I would like one of those. Thank you. I would love to get into one of those, please.
Yeah.
Something that you named when you said, when I just take my breath, I just took a breath and it activated something in me. It got me to thinking, we've heard this from time to time, but I'm really trying to bring it back into the room. It's like, okay, but how do I know I am valuable and I am worthy just with breath? And it's, if you really truly understood and could comprehend how many things had to go right for you to come into this earth.
You're here.
How difficult it is for someone to conceive and then someone to actually get pregnant and then someone to give birth and then for someone to navigate this world. So many things had to happen just the right way solely for your conception. And that there are people that are generations and generations and generations before you that said, it's your turn.
It's you.
So you were worthy because all of these things in the universe conspired together to protect you and make sure you got here. And we say that, but I think really sitting with
and I think sitting with it is what is important, not trying to intellectualize it.
Yeah.
Not trying to conceptualize it and put words to it. I think it's less about how do I make it make sense
versus how do I feel. I'm even tearing up now as I'm thinking about I am so loved.
Exactly.
I am so loved and am clearly, obviously so worthy because the entire universe said all of these things that can go wrong will not go wrong. We will protect this little entity so she can come into the world.
Right.
That alone means everybody had to be working on the same page to decide, I get to be here.
Exactly.
You're worthy. You get to be here. And it's my whole chest feels warm.
It's about right now. That's an entrainment that's happening.
That's a what?
Entrainment.
Entrainment?
So this is heart coherence, which is a part of one of the somatic practices that we'll get into. And I've been looking at these beautiful plants. Do you think the monstera is worried about its worth or questioning its worth?
You're not. Right.
No. And this is So entrainment and heart coherence is really about everything conspiring together for you literally, I was thinking about it as you were speaking it. And this is connection. I was like, she's speaking to heart coherence.
Okay, let's do the body practice, because I do know how people can get into like the heady piece of self-love, and we stay in the head so we don't have to be in the body, but so much more happens in our body. And I literally just felt like something shift while like we were talking.
When you are tapping into a heart coherence practice of dropping into or feeling into your heart, first things first is finding somewhere comfortable. That can be seated, that can be laying down. I always encourage everyone to remove things that are tightening. Your hair is tied up, if you have on glasses, tightened around the waist, start to remove some things if you can.
That's a whole sermon.
No, please unburden yourself. And especially for this, if you have any undergarments that are some tightening around this space, remove them. This is not something that you have to do. Like if you're at work and you're like, I need a heart coherence experience right quick. We're
not snapping off the bra real fast and be like, ooh. But also if you want to,
by all means, I'm going to encourage it. But
she is.
I just,
Okay, I love everything that we've been getting into today. And you and I both know. Shout out to Natita Gazelle. She's one of the most amazing trauma-conscious yoga practice people in the world. She has an amazing book. I went to one of her trainings, and this phrase she said kind of shifted things for me. She said, 80% of what happens to you happens in your body.
For sure.
20% of what happens to you happens in your mind.
For sure.
But we spend 80% of the time in our mind and 20% of the time in our body. Yeah. So we would be doing everyone, including ourselves, a disservice if we spent this entire time staying in the brain space. We talked about a lot of good things, and we gave a lot of like cognitive examples and reasoning and exercises that we can do. And I also understand the crux, the heart, the cornerstone, the beginning of this is learning how to be back in our bodies. Like loving ourselves starts with being in your body.
For sure.
And so in part 2, can you please walk me through some type of somatic practice? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm very much still a recovering perfectionist. It threw me off a minute ago when I started feeling stuff in my body, like in my heart, and the tears were coming.
We give thanks.
Thank you. But I would love a, could you walk through something?
I got you. I got us.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm scared, but and I'm excited.
It's going to be lovely and accessible.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit challenging.
Oh, that sounds so fun. But I did say it may be harder first. So I gotta take advice.
Exactly.
That's fair. Okay. Come back and we're gonna do a somatic practice.